Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a set of sources that are, well, pretty intense.
They really are.
We're trying to connect the dots between, daily responsibility and this almost unbelievable level of courage.
Right from the mundane to the momentous.
Exactly. So we're asking, what's the real link between how you handle, say, a small investment and how you choose to face a tyrant? What does true faithfulness actually look like?
And our sources today, they give us a pretty unified theme, even though they feel worlds apart. You have a parable from Luke, a historical account from Maccabees.
And a psalm, yeah.
And they all point to this expectation of active growth and just fearless commitment. Our mission today is really to get at the heart of that conviction.
Okay, so let's start with the practical side of things. The test of stewardship we find in the Gospel of Luke.
The parable of the minas.
Right. And the context here is just so important to understanding why Jesus tells this story in the first place.
It really is.
He's getting close to Jerusalem, and the crowd is buzzing. They think the kingdom of God's going to show up, right then and there.
Immediately. They're expecting this huge cosmic or political event, and they're just waiting for the payoff.
And Jesus tells the story to basically say, not so fast. While you're waiting, you have a job to do.
Precisely. So he tells this story about a nobleman who has to go away for a while to be made king. And then he'll come back.
And before he leaves, he calls 10 of his servants. And he gives each of them 1 gold coin, a mina.
And this detail is so important, everyone gets the same amount. 1 mina.
It's not like the parable of the talents where people get different amounts based on ability. Here, it's a level playing field.
Exactly. Which puts all the focus on what they do next. The instruction is simple, and it's for everyone. Engage in trade with these until I return.
It's an active command, not hold on to this, but do business with this.
Right. The core idea here is that the gifts we're given, the opportunities, they're meant to be used. They're meant for growth. Stewardship is the opposite of just sitting on something.
It's an enterprise.
It's an enterprise, yes. It directly pushes back against fear or complacency.
So fast forward. The nobleman returns. He's a king now. And he wants to know what happened with his money.
Time for an accounting.
And the first 2 servants, they've done incredibly well. The first one turned his 1 coin into 10 more.
An amazing return.
And the second earned 5 more. And look at the rewards. They're not just scale. They are, wildly out of proportion to the investment.
Completely. The first guy gets charge of 10 cities. The second gets 5 cities. It's this principle of abundance. Your faithfulness in a small thing gets you this massive increase in responsibility.
But then, of course, we get to the third servant.
The one who is the real focus of the lesson.
He comes forward and he gives the original coin back. And he says he kept it stored away in a handkerchief.
Just wrapped it up and hid it.
And his excuse for doing nothing is what's so incredible. He said, I was afraid of you because you are a demanding man. He basically blames the master's character for his own inaction.
He flips the script entirely. You're tough, so I did nothing. He doesn't apologize. He justifies.
And the nobleman's response is just perfect. He condemns the servant using the servant's own words.
He says, okay, so you were afraid. You thought I was that demanding.
Then why didn't you at least put my money in a bank?
Right. You could have at least collected interest.
It shows the excuse was hollow. The real issue wasn't the master's temperament. It was the servant's fear. Total paralysis.
The failure to even try. And the outcome is, well, it's brutal. The 1 coin is taken from him and given to the guy who has 10. And that's where we get that famous line, to everyone who has, more will be given, but from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away.
Your fear creates its own scarcity. You lose everything because you were afraid to risk anything.
Exactly. But the parable doesn't end there, does it? There's that other part that people often skim over.
The part about the citizens who hated him?
Yes. The nobleman then deals with the people who actively rejected his rule, who said, we do not want this man to be our king.
And his order is to bring them and slay them in front of him.
It's a shocking ending, but it's crucial. It draws a line between 2 types of failure. The servant failed through fearful inaction.
He was a bad employee.
Right, but the citizens, they failed through outright rebellion, open defiance. It tells you the story's about more than just money. It's about allegiance.
That's a great point. You have to use your resources, but you also have to declare where you stand.
And that sets the stage perfectly for our next source, where the cost of that allegiance is.
Yeah.
Well, it's everything.
So we've seen how fear leads to losing your capital. But what happens when the test is for something more than a coin? What happens when the fear costs you your body, your life?
We shift now from a business parable, to an extreme test of moral courage. The story from 2 Maccabees.
And the text itself says this story is worthy of everlasting remembrance.
And when you read it, you understand why. We have a Syrian king, Antiochus, who arrests 7 brothers and their mother, and he's torturing them to force them to violate God's law.
He wants them to eat pork,
Which is a direct violation of their covenant. It's not just about food, it's about identity, about allegiance.
and the focus of the story really is the mother. She has to watch 6 of her sons be tortured and killed in a single day.
Can you even imagine that? Yet the text says she bore it courageously with a noble spirit.
And manly courage. She encourages each one in their own language to stay strong.
And her strength isn't just. It's not just grit, it's theological. It's
Yeah.
rooted in this deep certainty. When she gets to her youngest, the last one left alive, she lays out her whole argument.
She tells him, I did not give you breath or life. I didn't put your body together.
That's the pivot right there. She's saying your life doesn't ultimately belong to me or to you. It belongs to the Creator.
And because of that, she can say that if they sacrifice themselves for his law, he, in his mercy, will give you back both breath and life.
It's the ultimate investment. She is betting everything on the resurrection. The return is life itself.
And the king, seeing this, he tries a different tactic with the last son. He offers him everything.
All the worldly rewards, wealth, happiness, power, the title, friend of the king.
It's a perfect echo of the parable, isn't it? The faithful servants got cities. This boy is being offered a city, a kingdom, really, for being unfaithful.
Exactly. And when the boy refuses, the king begs the mother to persuade him, to save him.
And this next moment is just incredible. She pretends she's going to do it. She leans in close to her son.
But speaks in their native language so the tyrant can't understand. And the text says she does it in derision of the cruel tyrant.
It's an act of total contempt for his power.
And her final speech to her son is so profound, she tells him to look at the heavens and the earth.
Because God made them from nothing. Creation ex nihilo.
And that matters so much in this moment. Because if God can create everything from nothing, then he can certainly restore life that a mere tyrant takes away.
So she tells him, do not be afraid of this executioner. Accept death, so that in the time of mercy I may receive you again.
Her faith is absolute.
And the boy's response is just. It's the final declaration. I will not obey the king's command. I obey the command of the law. And then he warns the king, you will not escape the hands of God.
Radical conviction, right to the very end.
So we're left with these 2 stories. A servant who's too scared to invest 1 coin, and a family that willingly gives up their lives rather than betray a single law. How do we even begin to connect these?
Well, that's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the connection is that they're both about fidelity to what's been entrusted to you.
Whether it's capital or conviction.
Right. For the servant, it was a coin and an opportunity. For the mother and her sons, it was their very lives and their moral commitment. The underlying principle is the same. There's an expectation of a return on that fidelity.
The return is either 10 cities or eternal life.
Exactly. And I think there's a psychological link, too. The small daily acts of stewardship, they build a kind of moral muscle.
So practicing with the small things prepares you for the big things.
I think so. If you can't bring yourself to use 1 coin because you're afraid of a demanding master, how on earth could you find the courage to defy a cruel tyrant?
The willingness to engage in trade is like training for the moment you have to face the executioner.
It connects to that verse from John that's referenced that we're chosen to go and bear fruit that will last. The servants were meant to bear financial fruit. The mother chose the fruit that lasts forever, resurrection.
And that idea of steadfastness is all over the Psalms too, right? Like in Psalm 17.
Oh, absolutely. The speaker there talks about his steps being steadfast in your paths. It's about that daily discipline. You practice staying on the path when it's easy, so you have the strength to stay on it when someone is trying to violently throw you off.
The daily grind prepares you for the ultimate test.
Which brings it all back to that call for wisdom in Psalm 90. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain wisdom of heart.
Understanding that your time and your gifts are limited.
They are.
Yeah.
And so their use has to be intentional. It has to be fearless.
So for you, listening right now, you're faced with that same choice between using what you've been given or wrapping it in a handkerchief.
Out of fear.
Drawing from what we've seen today, what is one intentional step, something you can actually do today, to use a gift you have for the good of others, instead of just storing it away?
Because that one step is a rejection of that fearful servant's mindset. It's a small act of fidelity that I think builds the foundation for something much bigger.
We've seen the two extremes. The price of fearing a demanding master is losing everything. The reward for defying a cruel tyrant is gaining everything. So the question we want to leave you with is this. What's the nature of your fear? Is it a fear of failure, a fear of effort? And what are you right now hiding in your own handkerchief that desperately needs to be put to trade?